Everyone thinks Superman was the key to saving the DCU. What if the real heart of James Gunn's DCU lies in Gotham? Not just in the Dark Knight, but in the family that carries his legacy. Because here's the truth. DC has never fully committed to telling Batman's story the way the comics intended. We've had loner Batman, gritty Batman, young Batman, and even sparkly Batman, but never the complete Batman saga, the one with a living, breathing Bat family, built from trauma, redemption, and blood. And today, I'm going to fix that. This is how I'd build Batman and the Bat family in the DCU, from Brave and the Bold to No Man's Land. One connected, emotional saga that could redefine Gotham forever.
I'm vengeance.
We already know this movie's coming. Batman and his son Damian Wayne stepping into the spotlight. But instead of being just another Batman and Robin story, this needs to redefine what Batman means in the DCU. By the time we meet Bruce, the Bat family should already exist. Nightwing has gone solo, Oracle is operating behind the scenes, Tim Drake, in his Red Robin suit, is balancing brains and combat. And somewhere in the shadows, the ghost of Jason Todd lingers, a wound Bruce never truly healed. Damian's arrival isn't just a story about a father and son. It's a story about a family that's been broken long before he ever showed up. Thematically, Brave and the Bold should set up two major things: the League of Assassins as a global power rooted in legacy, the Bat family as Gotham's emotional backbone. And if we're adapting Grant Morrison's Batman and Son, let's go all in. Bring in Talia al Ghul. Explore Bruce's guilt, his fear of legacy, his inability to connect. And yes, use the Man-Bat ninjas as a symbol of the monstrous world Bruce has to navigate. This isn't just another Batman movie. It's a story about how far he's fallen into obsession, and how his son forces him to climb back out. Now here's where it gets interesting. Throughout the movie, you tease Jason Todd's past. A newspaper clipping, a burned costume, maybe even a quick flashback. You're not introducing the Red Hood yet, but you're laying the emotional groundwork for one of the greatest payoffs in Batman history. And at the end, the League isn't truly defeated. Ra's al Ghul's legacy lingers, because in the shadows, Gotham is preparing for something worse.
Bruce. Jason. But you're dead.
Before Brave and the Bold hits, we'd release Clayface, the first Bat Saga prequel. We already know that the Clayface movie is in development, but instead of being some random horror experiment, it's a psychological thriller that hopefully introduces our DCU Batman in a subtle way without competing with Matt Reeves' version. It's set years before Brave and the Bold. Batman's still a myth, a silent presence haunting the background. The focus? Basil Karlo, a washed-up actor who becomes the monster he once pretended to be. The story mirrors Bruce's, both men hiding behind masks, both consumed by dual identities. Inspired by the Batman the Animated Series episodes Feet of Clay, this film would deliver raw emotion and body horror. Clayface's tragic fall from grace could be the DCU's answer to Joker, a villain origin story with genuine pathos. Batman's presence here should feel like Vader in Rogue One: brief, terrifying, unforgettable. He doesn't dominate the story, but when he appears, you feel the legend. By the end, Clayface is defeated, but not dead. Instead, he's imprisoned in Arkham. And that, my friends, sets up one of the biggest ensemble projects in the Bat Saga. After Brave and the Bold, audiences will fall in love with Dick Grayson all over again. And that's when you hit them with Nightwing. Picture it, a Daredevil-style grounded series set in Bloodhaven, where Dick finally steps out of Batman's shadow. No longer Robin, no longer the sidekick. He's the symbol of what Bruce could never be. Hope. Adapt Chuck Dixon's 1996 Nightwing run, packed with street-level grit, moral gray zones, and emotional depth. Give him Blockbuster as his main threat, a crime lord who controls Bloodhaven's underworld. Add Shrike, a brutal mercenary. But the real headline? Deathstroke. This is where you reignite the Nightwing versus Deathstroke rivalry, one of the most underrated rivalries in all of comics. These two mirror each other in philosophy and skill, yet sit on opposite sides of morality. And here's a question for you guys. Should Deathstroke be a Batman villain or a Nightwing villain? Fans have debated it for years, and this series would settle it. Throughout the show, you'd build the idea that Slade never truly cared about Bruce. His obsession has always been with Dick, the one that got away, the one that didn't break. By the finale, Dick earns his independence, but Slade's warning echoes. You'll never escape his shadow. That one line sets up the emotional tension for every Bat family member going forward. Next, you pull something brilliant, an anthology-style Arkham Asylum series. Each episode focuses on a different villain, Two-Face, Scarecrow, Killer Croc, Mr. Freeze, showing how they were captured, what broke them, and how Batman haunts their psyche. Think Black Mirror meets Gotham Central. But this isn't random villain fan service. Every episode builds toward something bigger. In the finale, we discover the Rogues are planning a mass escape, orchestrated by the Joker, Harley Quinn, and a mysterious, unseen figure. A whispering voice that speaks through the vents. The voice of Bane. The final shot? A wall cracks. Arkham falls. After teasing Bane in Arkham Chronicles, I'd drop an animated Nightfall trilogy. Not the watered-down version. The full, brutal Nightfall/NightQuest/Night's End saga. Bane breaking the bat, Azrael taking the mantle, Bruce clawing his way back from the brink. But here's the twist. The trilogy exists within canon. These events are part of the DCU timeline, happening in the past, right before the modern films. This means when Bane shows up again later in the saga, it's personal. For newcomers, the animation bridges gaps between projects. For longtime fans, it's fan service done right. Lore-rich, character-focused, emotionally devastating. 2 years after Nightfall, we launch Azrael, a live-action neo-Gothic series exploring Jean-Paul Valley, the man who once replaced Batman, now haunted by what he did in the cowl. Adapt Dennis O'Neil's 1995 Azrael run, a mix of medieval mystery, religious symbolism, and martial arts. Imagine Daredevil meets the Da Vinci Code, set in Gotham's underbelly. The story follows Jean-Paul uncovering the truth behind the Order of Saint Dumas, the secret cult that created him. Throughout the show, we'd see cameos from Oracle and Nightwing, connecting it tightly to the Bat family web. It's a story of redemption and guilt, and it perfectly leads into one of the greatest Batman crossovers ever written.
I trust you have not forgotten me, Batman.
Azrael.
Here's where we go big. The Batman and Superman crossover movie. Adapt Public Enemies. Lex Luthor becomes president, framing Superman for a crime he didn't commit. Suddenly, the government turns on heroes, and only Batman stands by Clark's side. What makes this story powerful isn't the action, it's their friendship. Two men who could not be more different, united by principle. You show the contrast. Bruce, traumatized and guarded. Clark, hopeful and transparent. And here's where the greater DCU ties in. Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and others are briefly referenced as the world reacts to the government's crackdown. At one point, Bruce and Clark face off, the most honest fight of their lives. By the end, they win the day. But the government's distrust of heroes has only just begun. That seeds future DCU tension, while strengthening the Bat-Superman bond we'll need later. Here's where all those emotional threads pay off. Adapt Under the Red Hood, but make it bigger. This isn't just Jason's story. It's the Bat family's reckoning. Instead of just targeting Batman, have Red Hood target the entire family. Tim, Dick, Damian, Barbara, one by one. Every fight is personal. The heart of this film lies in the moral question. If you could save the world by breaking your code, would you? And when Jason confronts Bruce, with Joker between them, we see the full cost of Batman's ideology. The key is not to villainize Jason, but to understand him. He's not the opposite of Batman. He's his consequence. By the end, Jason vanishes, the Bat family fractures, and Gotham bleeds.
The grand finale.
the event that ties it all together. After a massive earthquake, Gotham is cut off from the world. The government declares it a lost cause. Villains seize control. Penguin runs the docks. Two-Face takes the courts. Scarecrow controls the Narrows. And at the center of the chaos, Batman. Missing, presumed dead. This forces Nightwing, Oracle, Tim, Damian, and Cassandra Cain to rise up. This is their moment. The Bat family becomes Gotham's only hope. The series would adapt No Man's Land as an epic two-part film. Gritty, emotional, and character-driven. By the end, Batman returns, scarred, weary, and humbled. He realizes something he's refused to accept for years. He was never meant to do this alone. And that's how I build the Bat Family saga inside James Gunn's DCU. A story of legacy, pain, and redemption, told through the people who define Gotham's soul. But here's the question that'll divide fans forever. If Batman truly learns to rely on his family, does he stop being Batman? Because maybe, just maybe, Gotham doesn't need a Dark Knight anymore. Maybe it needs an army of them. If you made it this far, you're a real one. Drop a comment. Who's your favorite Bat Family member? Would you rather see this saga play out in live action or animation? Make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because in Part 2, we'll explore how this story connects to the wider DCU, and who could be the final villain of Batman's legacy.